What is this? I have not seen one of these in months. What is this? This is the November Icebox. You heard me, Icebox. So if you're unfamiliar, we do have an Icebox here at MONSTERBASS, and that's for targeting panfish, walleye, salmon, bass, pike, anything that swims under the ice. Now it is only November, which means yes, we do not have ice everywhere. The northern half of the United States is waiting on ice. Me personally, I'm impatiently waiting for ice. I love ice season and I can't wait for it to get here. Now before I get into this box and everything that's inside of it and what you can expect for the next couple of months from the Icebox, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out this video. Please, if you haven't already, smash the like button, ring the notification bell so you can see when we post more content. It's not just ice content. We just did a video on shaky head fishing and we'll have more content coming up soon. Spoiler alert, there is some smallmouth bass fishing gold coming your way very soon. So please do that so you can see we post more content. And while you're at it, if you enjoy fishing stuff, you like fishing videos that are fun and enjoyable, please come check out Burley Fishing. We also do the same types of things. We've got unboxings, gear reviews, fishing videos, and you might see some smallmouth fishing gold coming from us too here in the near future. So please come check out Burley Fishing. Again, I am Paul. We also have my the other half of Burley Fishing, which is Jeff, and that is what we do. But you're here to see ice fishing stuff. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you live in the northern half of the United States, and like I said, while it's November, we are patiently waiting for ice. We're waiting for that hard water. So this is more of like a stock up, but I want to show you how you can not only use this to fish under the hard water, but I'm going to show you how you can use it for fall fishing as well. Now, first up, we got a couple of jigs. These are the Widowmaker lures. I think these are a number 12. That's right. They are a number 12 jig. And we pop up in this pack, and these are tiny hooks. Now, if you're not familiar with ice fishing, or you're new to ice fishing, or you're just kind of trying to figure out what is going on and what comes in this ice box, you're gonna see a lot of small jigs. It's probably one of the most popular ways to fish for panfish. Now you can catch anything on these, but traditionally people are looking for panfish with hooks of this size. So this is that tiny, tiny, tiny jig. It's a gold jig, again, number 12. You're gonna see 14, 16, 12, down all the way to 20, and maybe some number 10s as well. And what that means is that's just the size of that hook. So there's your itty bitty baby hook. Now, what are you gonna do with this? A lot of people put wax worms on this. I think that's a great place to start most times. There's really not a bad way to fish these. That being said, one of the best things to put on a jig like that is plastics just like this one. This is from Bass Reaper. I'm gonna pop this open. This is called the, what do they call this? This is just their spikes in orange. This is actually a 20 pack. So you're getting 20 of these. These are itty bitty baby sized spikes. So if you're not using live bait, this is a great alternative. Now, why would you go away from live bait? Maybe you ran out. Maybe you caught so many fish that you ran out. Maybe your live bait is frozen or dead or skunky and you're just not in the mood, or maybe they're just not hitting the live bait today. Bright hotspot colors like this one. Some of my favorite colors are going to be orange. This is a great one. Pink, red, white, and then chartreuse or bright green. These are going to be some of my favorite options. This is a fantastic option. Now this little tiny tail, these are pretty durable plastics. This is a really tiny tail, provides a ton of action, and it's kind of a bright flash of color underneath that really trim, clear ice water. How are you going to rig it? You're just going to go ahead and thread it. I'm going to use that jig, that Widowmaker jig real quick and just show you how you can rig it. The cool thing about that Widowmaker jig is that tube-shaped body. It's gonna match up really well. Holy cow, that's bright. Now that jig, that's a lot better. So that jig right there, that tube-shaped body, hard to see on this, itty bitty jig, but matches up really nicely with these tube-shaped lures. Now, if this is too big of a bite, right? Maybe you're getting plucked at the tail, maybe you're not getting any bites, or maybe you're just getting a lot of interest, but you're not getting hits. What you can do is you can actually trim this down. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that boy right in half. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna thread that really micro tail section right onto the back of the same jig. And look at that. You've got a trimmed down version of the same lure, and that looks super duper juicy. So the nice thing about those spikes, they can fit a multitude of jig heads, big to little. Now, if you're still not getting hits and you need more action, here's a quick tip. Go ahead and take your plastic and rip it down. Whoa, I'm probably never gonna find that in the carpet. Rip that down one more time. Now this time, instead of threading it on, just go ahead and nick the tip of it, just like you would, say, a drop shot. Now check that out. That is gonna be the most action, the most finessey version of this jig. Let's go ahead and stay on the plastics train. Next up, we have the Euro Tackle Micro Finesse series. This is their Bloodworm, cool dark red color. This thing is going to bang. This one comes in a 10 pack, not a 20 pack, but it's got some really cool action. Let me pop these open for you. Comes in a clamshell, which I actually really like for these types of, plastics. So comes in a really cool, stays in the mold just like this, so you can just plop them off as needed. Now this is that Bloodworm, so as you can tell, it's gonna have a ton of action. I cannot hold this steady if my life depended on it, which is great. Underneath the water, and that, again, in that ice water, any little bit of movement is going to make a difference. So this has a ton of movement. Now it is longer, but it does taper down just a little bit. It's made of these little tiny balls here, you can kind of see there. Now it is a little bit stretchy, so that is gonna give you a little bit additional durability. You can break it down, but no need. Now there's a bunch of ways you can rig this. I would definitely say just straight threading it on like we did that orange spike, or you can even just, here, I'll grab another jig for you and I'll show you a different option. Looks a little ungainly, but I can tell you and promise you that it will catch fish. Just go ahead and just get just jam this onto the back of the hook. No rhyme or reason. Kind of like what you would do with live bait. Just go ahead and get it on the back of the hook and just kind of create a little bit of just like some volume here in the back. As you jig that around, fish are gonna see that, and that's kind of, I would actually argue, a more natural presentation, and it's gonna be something that you may get some more bites on. It also allows you to get more of that material right around the hook, so you get less little picks and more catches. All right, close to the last plastic. This is actually one of my favorites. This is the Big Bite Baits 1-inch balls in pink glow. Really cool bait. I think this is, of all the plastics that I have, this might be the second most. I think the most I have is that spike style, because they work so well with small jigs, but this works with a little bit larger jigs. You could actually fish these, and I will be fishing these maybe tomorrow. I'll test these out. But you can see that little ball is gonna create a ton of commotion in the water. Now, a ton of commotion from such a tiny plastic might sound insane, but if you're right on top of the fish and you drop something like this in front of them, any little bit of movement in that super clear, super oxygen rich water is really gonna show up, and it's gonna show up in a big way. So having something like this that has those three balls in the front and this extra little bit on the tail, that's really gonna stand out. And this is just another color for you. So you're getting the chartreuse, or like the orange, you're getting the red, and you're getting the pink. Those are three great options that could all be used on that little Widowmaker jig. Now I said this is the last plastic, almost the last plastic. It was almost the last. The next one you're gonna see is this Grub. Now I took it out of the packaging because I didn't want to give it away. This is a 360-degree moving, 2 jigs combined together. 2 jigs welded together. To be honest, this lure right here is a great example of why you get a subscription tackle box like Monster Bass. You might have everything, you might think you have everything and you've seen it all. I guarantee you have not. I have never seen this before. I've been ice fishing for quite a while. I love ice fishing. I like getting weird with all the lures and seeing what's going on, you know, and what's new, what's old that's coming back. I love all that. I have never seen this before. Call me ignorant, but I've never seen it, and I'm really excited to try it. So this is big. This is a 3/8 ounce total, 2 lures together. I think I told you this is 2 jigs combined together. Now look at that. So these are hard. They're not moving at all. And these are the plastics. It comes with 6 of these plastics, these bright curly tail grubs. And what happens is there's like a little line tie right at the top, a clip, and this is where you tie your line in. Now when you pull this up, this is gonna spin 360 degrees. So this thing is spinning around constantly and just creating a crazy commotion. So 2 ball head jigs welded together. They're a little bit offset, probably about 60 degrees, 30 degrees each off from being straight on. I'm gonna fish this tomorrow. I'm gonna try this in open water and see how it works. Now you're gonna need a heavier duty rod. I'm probably gonna be using an ultralight, but it's 3/8 ounce. I mean, that's not nothing. So any of your heavier spoon rods for ice fishing are gonna work. Probably 4-foot lights, 4-foot medium lights, somewhere in there, 4 to 5 foot. But yeah, when you jig this up and down, 360-degree spin. Never seen it, honestly never even heard of it. Really excited to try it. Next up is the Lindy Glow Spoon. Now you may have seen this one before. Now spoons, this is when you jig these up, they're gonna sort of like have this crazy wobbling action on the way up, and then they're gonna flutter on the way down. This is actually made of plastic. This is not made of metal, and there's a really good reason for that. I'll show you in a second. The nice thing about this is really early in the season, especially for targeting crappie, I like a very slow fall. Now this being a plastic spoon, not metal, means it is going to fall very slowly because it's really light and very buoyant. That's awesome. I think it's gonna be fine for heavy winter, but I probably want a metal spoon for like the dead of winter. And then as we get later and later into the season, again, I want that slower fall because those fish are gonna be pretty lethargic. Now you also probably notice this weird space right here, this indentation at the back of the spoon, and there's just like random hole right here in the front. What is that for? So this spoon has actually come with 5 glow sticks. They're gonna look just like, there it is, they're gonna look just like that. And what you do is you break them, yeah, just like that, and then you're gonna shake them up. Then you're gonna keep shaking them, and you're probably gonna shake them some more. And once you give them a shake, you're gonna see that it's gonna start to glow. This is basically a miniature version of those like little glow bracelets that you had when you were in middle school. And then you're just gonna plop it in the back of that jig like so. And that jig is gonna start glowing. Now it's not just this little strip that glows. Because this is plastic and they're using a translucent paint, this whole thing glows. I actually took it into like a dark room because I wanted to see how it worked. And I was stunned. This glow is actually shooting through all this paint and the whole thing is lit up. In ice fishing, one of the kind of cool things that's come around the last, well, it's been a while, but that's out there. People have found that glow and UV are 2 ways to draw in more fish from a long ways away. Again, super duper clear water because it's very oxygen rich because it's so cold. This is really gonna help be one more thing that's gonna draw fish in for you. If you were wondering, what is that little hole right there at the front for? Well, it's gonna come with a little, this little package from Lindy is gonna come with this little punch. Looks just about like, come on, just like that. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that punch, you're gonna pop it into that hole, and when you're done with your glow stick, you're gonna be able to pop it out and replace it. Like I said, this comes with 5 total, so definitely gonna let you get some good life out of that glow spoon. Now next up is a classic bait from Blitz Blades. This bait, it's a blade bait. This is the type of bait that you want that you can fish fall, winter, and spring. It's actually probably at its best in open water in the fall. This one happens to be a 1/4 ounce in gold. I'm gonna show it to you right now. It comes with a little clip here, which I'm holding on to, but this is just a classic blade bait. So big metal weight here in the front, gold profile with like a sticker on there that's gonna make it super reflective in the water. Now what you're gonna do is there's a lot of different ways to fish it. You can slow retrieve, and as you retrieve, it's just gonna wobble like this on the retrieve. 1/4 ounce is great for, if you're patient, you can let it get all the way to the bottom, but if you retrieve it pretty quickly, you can move it almost anywhere in the water column. But then the best way to do it, and the way I find that I get the most strikes, is letting it scissor down to the bottom and then rip it up really quickly, and it's gonna get this really quick, tight wobble action, and then let it flutter down. So hard rip up, let it flutter down. Hard rip up, let it flutter down. And as you retrieve it towards you, hopping it in that way, eventually it's gonna get basically right underneath where you're standing or where your boat is. Once it's there, jig it on the bottom and just let it stay, let it hang there for a while, jig it for a couple of minutes. That's likely when you're gonna get your strike, especially when those fish are lethargic. I will be using this one tomorrow. Now, again, I think I mentioned this. It works so good for fall. Definitely works for winter on pike and bass. Really anything, but pike and bass probably the best. And again, it's a pretty big profile. You're probably not going to be getting too many, anything other than the biggest crappies with this, but definitely walleye or anything else too. So larger fish targeting works great in the spring and the fall. So I'll be using this tomorrow. Maybe we'll get some catches on it. We'll show it to you. Fingers crossed. Now, coming up last is a bait that was actually invented in the Michigan area. This is the Luter lure. So this is a Great Lakes lure that was invented to fish the Great Lakes, really trolling for salmon. However, as people used it and started realizing how versatile it was, they started using it for everything from salmon, walleye, pike, bass, and everything in between, and definitely for some big crappie. Now this is a really cool bait. It's probably something you haven't seen before. It's 2 discs. Now this bait is made from all brass. It's silver plated. I think it's like jewelry quality silver plated, but all brass. And it's got, which is one of my favorite things here, not only the red hook, but it's got that real material in the back. So a feather with some flash boo there at the bottom. And then you can see that eye in the middle is really gonna help reflect, like actually draw in and glow a little bit and reflect some light. Now, it's a really unique lure. One thing I want to recommend is you'll notice that there's no line tie at the top. You're going to want to put a split ring on that or use a clip. You want to let this free swing as much as possible. Now, you can definitely troll this. That's what it was initially invented for. So maybe a bottom bouncer, a couple feet of leader, and you can troll this. You're gonna catch salmon, you're gonna catch trout, you're definitely gonna get some walleye and some multi-species as well. I recommend in the winter time jigging this for absolutely anything that will bite. If you're in a fishy area, this is one of those lures you can just drop and catch fish. You can already kind of see it on the camera. It's reflecting light onto the back of my hand, and it is like a cloudy day. Now, you could tip this with a grub or whatever you want for a live bait, but really with that feather material down there, you're not gonna need it. It's gonna work great all on its own. That is the November box. It is the beginning of ice season. You can start stocking up your tackle box now so that when December, late December, January rolls around, you are ready to hit the hard water. I am so excited for ice fishing season. Look, I get it. It's not great to sit on a bucket or even sit in a shelter in the freezing cold, getting up early, not having a ton of sunlight. I get why that's tough, but there's something magical about pulling a fish out of hard water, about walking out, you know, maybe a half mile or whatever it is, out onto a frozen lake, and then just ripping lips through a tiny hole in the ice. It's just, there's something about it so much fun. But if you live somewhere in the Midwest, it might be your only option to fish. So if you really love fishing, you just gotta go out, you gotta suck it up, you gotta go fish the hard water. Again, thank you so much for checking out this video. Hopefully this gets you pumped up, gets you ready to go ice fishing, break out the tiny jigs, go break out the sleds, go break out the shelters, whatever it is, however you fish, the buckets. It's that time of year. Well, it's almost that time of year. So hopefully this gets you pumped up for that. More videos to come on ice fishing. We'll do some maybe rod and rigging tips. We'll do some gear reviews and things like that to kind of get you ready. And we'll certainly do some more unboxings as this box continues to come out. So it should be coming out November through, I think, February or March. You get 4 or 5 months of this box coming your way. Again, thanks for checking out the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when we post the next video. And again, the next video, we definitely will continue to pump out the bass fishing content. But we're gonna mix in some more ice and multi-species like we have been. And with that, again, thank you so much. Have an awesome day. If you're just bass fishing, if you're still fishing open water, good luck chasing those bass. And if you're getting ready for ice fishing, we'll catch you out on the hard water. Have an awesome day.